Welcome back to the Corporate Rejects podcast, and welcome if this is your first time listening in. I am your show host, Amanda Davila, and I am excited to continue to provide support and empowerment through your journey to entrepreneurship. All right, welcome to the Corporate Rejects podcast. This is Amanda Davila, your host, and I am here with one of my favorite guests of all time, Irena Miller. And I'm so excited for you to meet her and hear all about her amazing journey and her stories. She is just incredible. I've taken my journey, and when I met her, it was like a cosmic boom. I took where I was at in all of my experiences, and as I was building my online business, my vision of growing it into an empire, I needed something else. I was missing something big. I hired my sales coach. I had, worked with other people to help me try to figure out what I was doing and help me learn the online business world. But something was missing. And when I met Irena, she was the missing piece. And what I've really been learning through my journey of entrepreneurship is that it's not just, okay, I'm going to start an online business. I'm leaving corporate behind. Here I go. It's not just business. It's a full body experience. And until I really started understanding that and embodying that, I needed to address a lot of mental, emotional, and physical things. I wasn't really succeeding in moving forward with my big dreams and goals for my business. So once I added in the amazing energy practices and clearing out old traumas and old karmas, and then also adding in the physical aspect, starting to do yoga and Pilates and making my body strong, I didn't realize how much was missing and how powerful working on yourself and all of those different pieces was for moving your business forward. So I'm super, super excited to introduce you to the most amazing, beautiful Irena Miller.
Thank you so much. What a joy it is to be here. And thank you for that warm and loving and just most amazing introduction. I have just soaking that all up in my heart because Amanda, that's how I feel about you. You have been such an inspiration in your journey to me, because it's one thing to say, I'm going to do these practices, I'm going to face these tough emotions and past traumas and hurts and pains and transform that into something of beauty and forward momentum. Most people, as soon as we hit that wall, we're like, I'll deal with that later. But you really walk through the fire, and it's a testimony to your spirit and your inner strength and fortitude and perseverance and faith, because every time that you would take a step forward on your journey, it was almost, I don't like to think of them like tests, but it was something would pop up and it would be like, how badly do you really want this? And do you really have faith that this is the place and space for you? And you did. You were so at peace because you showed up and you did the work, you did the practices, you faced the fears head on, you went through those rough nights, and you have created something incredible that most people will only hope and wish and dream of for years and years. And you have really been able to take kind of the secret sauce of it and put it into strategies and steps for others to emulate. Because I know that so many have come to you and said, oh my God, how did you do that? How were you able to move from the West Coast to Hawaii? How are you able to do that and leave all of the corporate world behind and make money and be so incredibly successful with a beautiful family that you can enjoy and spend time with and go out to the beach and see the turtles? You have done it, and you continue to do it and bring it. And I'm so grateful for that. You really inspire me. And I thank you for the work that you've done, because it's exciting to see it in action.
Oh, now I'm a pile of goo. Oh, I love it. And I really love your story of how, where you started in the corporate world, doing everything what's expected for Americans, right? Go to college, get the corporate job. I love your story about how, where you started and your journey and where you're at now. So can you share how you started in the corporate world and now where you're at? Because I get all goosebumpy. I'm thinking about it because I know it's coming.
Oh, thank you, thank you. So yeah, so I felt that I needed to do the responsible thing, go to college and get a business degree because I didn't want to end up a starving artist on the streets. I would have much to have preferred following my passion in the arts, whatever that was. You know, there it was painting or um, design work or acting, but I knew in my heart of hearts that I had to be responsible, and I do love problem solving and finding solutions. So I was drawn to something called decision sciences, now known as data sciences, and management information systems. So I was like, yes, decisions and systems. I am all for this. Let's go into it. But the thing that I realized was number one, that's very logic based, which I can play in that world. And I ended up going into corporate and getting a great job doing coding of all things. So I built websites and backends, working with like Visual Basic and oh my gosh, all sorts of things. But long story short, I was never happy. I always felt like I was pretending. I had what was called imposter syndrome, mainly because I was out of integrity with where my heart wanted to be. And I was right at a pivotal point where I had to make a decision. Either I go and I get what's called your MCSD, your Microsoft Certified Solution Developer certification, or go back and get my master's. And I had the happy news that I was expecting my son. And all along, I had moonlit as a yoga teacher because I wanted to find a stronger connection and pathway for my intuition. And I knew because I was never comfortable in my own body growing up. Physically, I just always felt out of place. You know, I was like, oh. So the yoga helped me find a comfort. And what I realized is something that you highlighted, Amanda, is that your body reflects your interior, your emotions, your mood. So Stanislavski, the acting method, you know, if people are sad, there's a tendency then for an actor to round their body, you know, or if they're angry, you know, clench their fists. Our body conveys emotions and thoughts. You know, they talk about body language. So the way that we shape our body, whether it's through a yoga pose or evoking an emotion, has an effect on our internal mindset and our internal well-being, what we're feeling. So for me, that's where I started was the physical pathway to open up the spiritual experience, the yoga. So I had studied in the evenings. I had become a certified teacher and I found out I was pregnant with my son. And I said, oh, that's it. I have to leave the corporate world because there's no way I can have him and mother him the way I wanted to and stay in corporate. Because where I was, it was consulting for Microsoft. It was working 80 hours a week with a 3-hour commute round trip. And there was no way I could leave an infant. I mean, I would have been gone at least 13 hours during the day. So long story short, I left the corporate world and I became a full-time yoga teacher. I opened up my own yoga studio. It was wonderful because my little boy, he would be on me the whole time while I taught. He'd be crawling over me in downward dog. We'd be doing planks together. He was like the studio mascot. It was fantastic. And over time, what I realized was that enough people were getting in touch with their physical body that they, you know, because in the beginning, when somebody says, like a yoga teacher says, okay, now spread your toes. And people, you know, at first they're like, wait a second, toes don't move. Hello. My pinky toe isn't spreading anywhere. It's like one unit. But over time, you can physically move aspects of your body that you thought never would move independently of the other. And once you start to know that, you can start to pick up on the feelings around you and you start to say, wait a second, I'm in a bad mood, but this isn't my emotion. I was just talking with my girlfriend who got laid off from her job and I think I'm holding her emotion. I think I'm feeling her worry and pain and sadness and anger. Wait a second, what's happening here? So you start to recognize how the emotions are showing up in the body, like when somebody's a pain in your butt and your SI slips, that little dimple in your backside. You're like, oh my God. And it's like, wait a second, there's an energetic component. So at that point, that was my excitement was I saw that people were ready for the energetic side of things to say, where are other people's emotions, energy in motion, where are their emotions infiltrating your system and kind of confusing things and making it challenging to move forward with your heart's desire? Where are ancestral patterns from like the lineage, you know, like, oh, it was always done this way. This is the family tradition. Where is that holding you back? Because maybe going into business isn't the thing, even though everybody in the family line did. You know, they all became a doctor, a lawyer, and maybe you want to be a yoga teacher. Being able to release from those karmic ancestral ties. It's very, very healing. So at that point, what I was able to do was I was able to bring my yoga business online. I started my yoga business in 2005, and 2016 is when I brought everything online. So for me, the joy in the journey has been the evolution, the ability to say, here's what's happening in my life and those around me. And I'm going to adapt and transform to create the highest vibrational, most synergistic experience possible. So being able to come into the online space, what I was able to do was actually be here for my family more because my daughter was young, and running a studio and having two small children was getting quite exhausting. I couldn't be there for them in the way I wanted. Knowing that I could introduce this energetic experience in an online fashion was exciting because I knew it would help people break through that next level that mindset work and affirmations and just yoga alone were kind of missing. So that's kind of a very long story how I got here.
I love it. I mean, it's the perfect explanation of being a corporate reject. Like, really,
Yeah.
like, you tried it, it wasn't for you, especially when you knew that you were expecting and you
Oh,
wanted,
yeah.
you intentionally wanted to mother a certain way. And I love
Yeah.
that because I had that exact same feeling. Like, I knew, like, not the life I wanted for myself, my family, my child. Like, I needed something different. And I think one of the big pivotal moments was a class I took from you. I think it was releasing
Yeah.
the old karmas of, you know,
Exactly.
your ancestors and everything, because most of us, we grew up with a very like set, like, okay, this is what you do. Like, you graduate high school, you go to college, you get a degree, you get the house,
Mhm.
the white fence, the 2.5 kids. Like, you have to have a mortgage, you have to have a car payment. Like, this is what you have to do. Like, it's what you
Right.
do. And if you don't, then you're nobody, you're a loser, you're, you know,
Yeah.
like, so
Yeah.
many of us, at least here in the US, you know, out of the people I talk to, like, that's what we were raised to believe. Either don't have that feeling in your heart that that's what you want. You're only doing it because someone else told you you had to and you don't want to let them down, but you're not following your heart's desire. And I feel like I've been making this connection between that and like the midlife crisis thing. Like, you've worked so hard and you've done all of the things you're supposed to with air quotes. And then you hit that like time where you're like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, and then like, it's like that midlife crisis thing, you know, like where men
Mhm.
start going crazy and having affairs and buying fancy cars, and women decide they don't want to be married anymore and
Mhm.
go crazy and, you know, go
Mhm.
start dating some, you know, young hot yoga teacher or whatever, you know what I
There
mean?
you go.
But then they find themselves and they spend
Yeah.
the rest of their life happy. And it wasn't about the young hot yoga teacher himself. It was about
Mm-mm.
finding themselves and following their true passion. So
Yeah.
that's something that is part of my passion and my message, is that I want people to know much earlier on, like, that there's more to life and that you don't have to do things this way. There are other ways. And now it's easier than ever because of the internet, right?
Yeah.
Us and so many of our friends run online businesses and can do it from anywhere in the
Mhm.
world. As long as you have a Wi-Fi connection in your laptop, you can run your business anywhere. Um,
Exactly.
so there's really like, there's no reason why you have to go to college and get this degree and then spend the rest of your life paying off your $100,000 in student loan debt. I went to nursing school. I have a nursing degree. I worked as a nurse for 10 years. I've been in the medical field for over 15 years. And I'm going to be paying off that damn student loan forever, you know, because that's what I thought I had to do. So it's one of those things that, at least in the, you know, the culture of where we live here in the US, like, you're not taught that there's any other option. You're taught that
Right.
this is what you do. Like, this is your option.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I guess maybe you can choose, you know, if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, but like, this is your option. You don't have anything else. And then there's
Yeah.
so many people who are unhappy. Your mission is so pointed in spreading what else there is. And that's why I started
Right.
Corporate Rejects, because there's so many moms out there who finally have their baby and
Yeah.
back at work, and then someone else
Oh,
is raising their kid.
yeah.
And
Mm-mm.
that's why I work so hard to put out education for people that, like, look, you can start your own online business. You can work from home. You can do
Mm-hmm.
this. Like, there's more. And like I said before, like, it's so important not only to have that, but to also have the full support. Like,
Yes.
everybody needs an Irena. Like everybody needs you. Like I know I say that all
Oh,
the time, but they do. Like just like we need, we need someone to cut our hair. We need someone
hmm
to detail our car. We need someone to help us do all these things in life, right?
right.
We need Irena. We
Oh,
need
thank
Irena
you.
on the spiritual side because it's if it's not something you were, born into and raised with,
hmm
it's like something you really need that help with. So anyway, so I'm super excited for what you have to share today with everybody. And I think it's really helpful for everyone from whether they're at the point where they're realizing, okay, I need to do something different so I can be home, people who are getting ready to join and be a corporate reject, and the people that have already made the transition and that we're always learning. And so even once you start your online business, you're always evolving. There's always something new. You're always moving to the next level. So it doesn't stop. It's not like, okay, I'm a business owner now, and it just stops. You're
Yeah.
always, working towards that next beautiful vision. So I'm
hmm
excited to hear what you have to say.
Yay.
This episode is sponsored by the Corporate Departure Blueprint. This program teaches moms how to leave behind their corporate job and start an online business so they can stay home with their kids and work from home, work from anywhere. Go to amandadavilla.co/corporate-departure-training and grab my free training on how to ditch corporate and become a work-at-home mom.
I love what you say, and I kind of want to highlight too. It's one of those things that when we do fall into those patterns of expectations of others, that can really be one of the biggest obstacles in our path. And that's why when you talked about my mission, one of the things that I love the most when I first kind of meet people or they come into my world is to teach them this simple exercise, which I'm going to bring everybody through in a second. But it's one that says, okay, wait a second. The world places certain expectations on me, and my family has placed certain expectations, whether it's verbal or even nonverbal. Like, it was a set expectation or just implicit. There are certain things that are just put onto us in life. And for me, being able to reach out to those empaths, those visionary women who have maybe felt like, wow, I don't quite belong here. I don't fit in, but I don't know why. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. People have either made fun of you or ridiculed you for this, sixth sense, this gut instinct, and this simple knowing to be able to give these women the tools and the practices to speak this language of their gut instincts. This is my passion, because once we can start to realize, wait a second, I've got somebody else's expectations or energies in my space. I'm going to let go of their expectations, tune into my gut instinct of what I know is to be true. Like just like Oprah does in the back of her magazine, like, this I know to be true, this is what I believe. This is in my heart. I can't explain it. I can't back it up with any data or evidence. I just know. How do I know? I know. I feel it in my bones. I know I need to be with my little one. I know that this is not the right track. I know it might make sense for everybody else, but not for me. So when you can release everybody else's energy out of your space, their thoughts of like, shoulda, coulda, woulda, like if you had done this, you would have been there. When you know how to release that, when you know how to fill your own well, I call it feeding your spirit, because so many of us in life, when we stay in corporate and it goes against our heart's integrity because we want to be with our little ones, the eyes go kind of like dead. They just kind of vacant, like something's missing. That spark is missing. Some people, they love to stay in corporate, and that's awesome. They find the balance that works for them. But for those of us who have tried to fit in where we don't belong, and we know that jarring aspect, when you look in the mirror, if you see that the light's gone out in your eyes, that's a sign that you need to feed your spirit. And this is one way to do it. And feeding your spirit is just anything that lights you up with passion for life again. So I'm going to just talk everybody through that, if that's okay with you, Amanda.
Yes, I love this.
Okay.
I do this. I know what you're about to do, and I do it multiple times a day, and it is an absolute game changer. So the fact that
Yay!
you're about to share that with everyone right now, oh my gosh, you guys are in for a treat.
Woohoo! I call this the root flush fill, because I definitely find that it's nice to use some silliness and playfulness when we work in this area, because we're facing some things that can be sometimes challenging and a little tough. So it's good to bring humor in. So I'm going to invite everybody to just sit back and to close their eyes and take in a few deep breaths. And as you take in these deep breaths, I want to invite you to imagine that you're standing outside in the sunlight. And maybe you're standing barefoot on the grass or barefoot on the sand right at the ocean's edge. Or maybe you're just standing barefoot there in your room. But the idea is that there is a connection between your feet to the ground, to the earth. And I'm going to invite you to imagine that as the sun shines down on you, this imaginary sun, you imagine it just shining down over the crown of your head, through the head. It warms up the whole neck, through the neck itself, through the heart center, through the upper belly, this warmth like a golden light just shining over and through you, all the way down through the lower belly, through the pelvic floor, between the legs, down through that first layer of the earth, the crust, down past that rock layer, down past the magma, that lava, down all the way to the very core of the earth. Let me take a breath. And imagine you have arms that are 8 to 10 feet in length. So what we're doing is we're just going to expand your personal bubble space, otherwise known as your auric field. This is your energetic light body. This is where you process all of the different energies and thoughts and experiences that come across you during the day. You're going to just visualize an imaginary 8-foot arm reaching out to the right, and an imaginary left arm reaching out to the left, and up above your head, behind you, in front of you, and even down through the earth a little bit. You're giving yourself some breathing space. When everybody else's ideas and thoughts and opinions crowd in on you, I just need some breathing room. Step back, everybody. You're making breathing space. Now, anything that's in your space that isn't serving your highest, whether it's somebody else's opinion, ideas, their thoughts, whether it's your own and it's not helping you out right now. Imagine, just like the toilet, you gotta flush all that stuff right down to the earth. Let it swirl out of your space. You're gonna release all of that energy that doesn't belong to you. The energy that you picked up from the cashier at the grocery store. The energy that you picked up from the friend on the telephone. The energy that you picked up from a partner or spouse when they came home angry from work. You're gonna flush it all down. The opinion of where your mom thinks you should be or should have gone. The opinion of siblings. We're going to flush it down. And then imagine, still in that beautiful sunlight, the sunlight washing over your body, and it fills up your whole personal bubble space, your auric field, with this golden light, and it shimmers with these little glimmers of gold, almost like pieces of metal, just reflecting back your value to yourself and to the world, protecting you and keeping you grounded and present in your gifts. And this golden shimmery light just fills up your entire space. We'll even bring through a little bit of blue to help make it easy to communicate your heart's desires. And we'll take one more breath. And with the gaze towards the floor, slowly, slowly open your eyes. And so it is.
So it is.
Yeah. And I talked everyone through the very long version of that, but you could just do something like root flush fill and do it in like 10 seconds over time as you get used to it.
I definitely, like as I got more comfortable and understood what I was doing, I got to a point where I can do it really fast. Like if I need to, like between clients or, between stores, whatever I'm doing, between rooms, depending on, the mood of my child, the mood of my husband.
Yeah.
But I can do it very quickly, and it's become like a craving. Like I'm like, oh, I need this. And then when I have more time, I go through the longer version, because it's like that like indulgent self-care feeling. And
Yeah.
if you just did it something like this for the first time ever, you might be like, okay, like what? Like, but like trust me, like start like practicing it and you will really start to feel and start playing with it. And I love that. I love how, Irena, you make everything so playful. There's a shift in that feeling of like, what the heck am I like doing? Like, what is this? Like when you're new to this like spiritual world, you're just like what is all this? But you make it playful and fun and light, and it's not heavy and scary. Like it's just like like breath of fresh air. so,
Yay.
so I love that. And now, like at first, it was like, how am I gonna, because I've taken a lot of your classes and worked with you one on one for a long time, so I have a lot of things I can do, and it could feel like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna have time to do all of this? But now it's like that indulgent, like, ooh, like I am going to pamper myself. And a lot of times it's at night, like when I finally lay down in bed and then everyone's asleep and I have a few minutes to myself. And that's when it, works for me. But now I'm getting early and I'm incorporating practice in the morning too. And that's even better because I get it morning and night and throughout the day when I fit, the root flesh villain. So it's really neat, like how, like when you first like do it, you're like, okay, like that was nice and relaxing, like I feel better, but I still have a million things to do. But once you start doing it and practicing it, you're like, oh, like this is my like, like it's my smoke break.
Yeah. There you go.
You know how smokers always find a way to, they get their smoke break, right? Like they have to. It's this addiction, this need, not a healthy one. So the root flush fill and all of the other practices that I've learned from you, it's like my addiction, but it's a healthy one, and it's helping make my life better and everyone else around me.
Yeah.
Because in those moments, in those quiet moments, that's when my brilliance comes. Like that's when I get the downloads of all of the good stuff, and I come up with all the ideas for my business. And so that's seriously been the game changer. Is like learning from you how to find and make those quiet moments, even if it's not quiet.
Yeah.
And like connecting, and like as soon as my mind starts to go blank and like I start to feel relaxed, which is sometimes my complaint because I want to go to sleep. I get all the downloads, so I write it down furiously or put it in my phone. It's beautiful, and I appreciate it because I need those. I can't, my brain and my body can't accept these beautiful downloads of information and like brilliance until I get to my moment. So if you are a business owner and you struggle with this, like you struggle with the new ideas or connecting everything together, like finding that quiet time, that really is the time that you need. Like you need to intentionally make that time. That's from my experience. That is absolutely like you have to do it, or you stay stuck. You stay stuck where you're at.
Most definitely. I wholeheartedly agree. You said it beautifully. That's where the magic happens. Because when you're in that space of quiet, it's receptivity. It's that listening and being instead of doing. And so many of us, especially when we get into the online space, many of us are coming into this with life experiences and a lot of knowledge, but we're coming into unfamiliar territory and how it translates into the online space. So there's lots of opportunities to learn this, learn that, oh wait, I need that. Oh wait, I need this now. And online entrepreneurs, they have, and many of your listeners have probably experienced this. It's like that squirrel or shiny object syndrome. It's like, oh, if I get this, this is going to solve all the problems. Oh wait, now I need this. The next thing you know, you're looking at your credit card bill and you're like, oh my God. So being able to have that quiet space to tune into your gut instinct and say, is this the right choice for me, the right path? And there are ways that, again, you can interpret those gut instincts to learn how to trust them. That's what I love to teach, is saying it's like developing a relationship when you're learning how to trust your instincts, or connect with your angels and guides and say, all right, point me in the right direction. Help me figure this out. Who do I need to talk to? Being able to simply pause and to listen by having that quiet space and time. Just like you said, Amanda, you said it so beautifully. That is the biggest life lesson, I think, for anyone in the online space, to avoid a lot of heartache and empty wallets.
Yes, absolutely. So I was on your website, which is beautiful, by the way. I love your website. And there was a pop-up in it mentioned a free meditation, I think it was.
Yes.
So when people end up on your website, what can they expect from that meditation?
Yeah. Yeah. So on my website, theirenamiller.com, that wonderful little pop up, that's the root flesh fill that I just walked everybody through. So if they want to have that in their pocket, and it's under 2 minutes long, so it's even a little bit shorter than when I brought you guys through here, you can download that onto your phone. You can listen to it on the go. And what that does is it enables you through this guided visualization and meditation to really start to distinguish and practice what's called in yoga viveka, or discernment. What is your energy and what someone else's? So when you have that feeling like, oh my God, I need to take this, course, or I need to buy this, or I need to go there, it enables you to really understand where you need to be and what you need to be doing. So
Awesome.
yeah.
That's perfect. So everyone who just went through that practice, they can go download it. I love that. Oh, awesome. Okay. And then can you share a little bit about how you work with people?
Yeah, thank you for asking. I have my weekly free show that I do every Wednesday at noon Eastern time called Inklings with Irena. And that's on my Facebook business page, the Irena, I think facebook.com/Irena K. Miller. But on there, I bring everyone through intuitive tips that I've been sharing with my one-on-one clients. So when people are just looking for a hot tip of what's going on that week, tuning into my free show is great. I also work with people one-on-one for long periods and then sometimes short periods. I do intuitive readings for them. And I also have something new that I'm putting together, which I'm very excited. It's going to be 90 days to walk through with me the different rhythms of nature, connecting to the cycles of the moon, what you can do to really tune into the energy around you and use it to manifest your heart's dream, use it to figure out, okay, I've got a decision to make. Would a pendulum help me best here? And how do I even use a pendulum? And what are oracle cards? How can they give me insight as to where I can best put my action into the day to move my business forward? But it's really talking about what you mentioned in the beginning with the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual. It's taking all of these sacred practices that I have been curating and creating for the last 20 years and putting together specific recipes for people to play with and really get in tune with their passion and make that a reality in life. And that's going to be coming up soon. And I'm excited about that. So that's going to be a lot of close working with me. It's the next best thing to working one-on-one with me.
Oh, I am so excited about this. So I will definitely link to all of your links in the show notes. So everyone can grab that. Make sure you grab that meditation, the root flesh fill, and download it to your phone. Like, trust me, it's been a game changer. Absolutely. And then by grabbing that, you'll be able to stay updated on when the new program is launching. Oh, it sounds,
Yay!
I'm all goosebumps, like thinking about it. So exciting. So, oh my gosh, Irena, thank you so much. This has been incredible. And I love your story, like from the beginning, how you've worked through all these different parts of your life, like we all do, but you adjusted and you followed your intuition and your desires, and you have made it work for you and your family, and you're living your dream. You
Most
are
definitely.
the ultimate corporate reject. Like, I need to send you a t-shirt because
yeah, I need to buy one. Sure. Send me the link.
I'm like, one of these days I'm gonna get like tattooed somewhere on me.
Yeah.
But I'm so, I'm so proud of, like, I'm so proud, like you said a little bit ago, about how, like, there's people who love working in corporate and love having that. I know lots of women who want to get away, not get away from their kid, but they want that separation, and that's beautiful. And I'm so glad that there are people like that, because we need people in all these, right? We need everyone in their unique differences.
Most
Just like
definitely.
we need someone, to make our coffee when we go through the coffee drive-through. We need someone. Well, most states, no one pumps your gas, but in Oregon, we have people pumping our gas. But like everyone, no matter what you're doing, you're needed. So we
Most
need people
definitely.
with all these differences. But if you fall into that place where you want something different and you know deep inside that that's not the life for you,
Right.
and oh my gosh, when you talked about the dead eyes, I connected with that so deeply, because I've been there. I was there, and I'm just so grateful. Becoming pregnant and having my son was that huge, like, life changing thing that was like,
Yes.
okay, like, I have to take this serious. And I'm so blessed that it wasn't like, oh, like, you have cancer, so like
Right?
now you need to take things seriously. It was,
Whew.
it was a big life thing, but it was a beautiful blessing, I mean,
Yeah.
everything that happens that makes you find that place in you that we're all looking for and finds that balance and that peace, it's all beautiful. And sometimes it from something terrible,
Yeah.
you find it finally. So I'm just blessed that mine was like a truly beautiful little earth angel that came in and
Yes.
changed everything for me. So I am so grateful that you came on today and shared your story and your practices. And I cannot wait for everyone to jump on and learn more about you. And yes, I can attest that Irena is amazing, and her practices and everything she shares is life changing and uplifting and just feels good for your soul. So even if you're not like really sure what this is all about, you just need like a little like your heart to like jump around, like those little puppies in the little gifts that are like around. If you need a little bit of that in your heart, like go check out Irena's Facebook page, because her videos and everything are just like puppies dancing. So anyways,
that's the best compliment ever. Thank you. Yay.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. This was wonderful.
Thank you for having me, Amanda. You're incredible. It's been a joy to be here.
Thank you so much for listening in. I am trying to reach as many moms as I can to help support and empower them in their journey. So if you enjoyed this episode, I would love it if you would leave a 5-star review on my Apple podcast page. I know as busy women, entrepreneurs, and moms, our time is extremely limited and valuable. So to sweeten the deal, I am buying the next 10 5-star reviewers their next beverage at Starbucks. Instructions are in the show notes, and I am so grateful for you. I love supporting moms, and I love moms supporting moms. See you next time.